Every floof and dash and space magic wielding warlock player in D2 has their preferred way to play and their preferred exotic armor. But what does your favorite exotic armor pick say about you? Wonder no more. Hi, my name is Fallout, and subscribe to my channel so I can eat dinner tonight. If you enjoyed today's warlock video, be sure to also check out what your hunter exotic says about you and what your titan exotic says about you linked below. If we get enough likes on today's video, I guess I'll take that as a sign to continue the series somehow. Leave me your suggestions below. But alright, enough chit chat. Let's dive right in. Skull of Dire Ahamkara. There's a really good shot that one of two things is true. One, you are an ancient old school veteran who's been playing since D1 and your old warlock rocked the skull and you're still wearing it because it's part of your warlock's overall fashion and identity. Or two, I mean, you're a PvE player and you just love to Nova Bomb. Complicated warlock builds and exotics? Don't even mention them to you. Elemental wells? Mother witchcraft, build up super, throw Nova Bomb, repeat. That's good enough for you. Also, there's a 10% chance that you've shouted Big Bang Attack at least one time in your career while throwing a Nova Bomb. Crown of Tempests. You've been playing D2 since vanilla, and for as long as you can remember, you have been a Stormcaller main. You first donned the crown because it seemed like the logical pick, and it was. Better ability regen after an arc kill, and a better, longer Storm Trance. Here we are years later, and not much has changed. Yeah, there's plenty of other options out there for sure, but you laugh with delight as you Palpatine the entire enemy team with your comically long Storm Trance. You grinned from ear to ear when Chaos Reach got knocked off its high horse so you could once again reign supreme as the superior Warlock Arc Super. You also firmly believe that Crown has some of the best exotic ornaments in the game, and you are correct. Eye of Another World. You do not like to be troubled by the burden of choice or variety. Some Warlock exotics are overly gimmicky, and you just want to go with something plain and easy. Thank God you've got Eye of Another World. It's the pad thai of D2 exotics. It's not wild or adventurous by any means, but you know it won't be bad. It's safe across the board. Extra weapon AE and better ability regeneration for literally everything in your kit, that is fine in your book. You also wish that Bungie would add literally any new cosmetics for this exotic for the love of God. Nezarec Sin. You love void spam. PvE, PvP, doesn't matter to you. You are just a nade throwing void child and SOB, and that suits you just fine. On the PvE side of things, you learned about elemental wells not because you wanted to from the get-go, you just heard that they could allow you to spam more void, so might as well. You very likely have multiple god roll funnel webs laying around, and every time Telesto breaks the game, you're eager to equip it together with your helmet and go make mischief. The Stag. You're an odd little duck. It wasn't until after you decided to be a warlock main that you learned you really love the power fantasy of being a beefy, tanky boy. But rather than betray your people and change over to the ways of the Crayon Eater, you stayed warlock, glued the Stag to your head, and made it work, god damn it. You're a PvP player for sure. And there's a really good chance that you never enter a match unless you're rocking either Whisper of Chains or Arc of Soul. While hardscoping in your rift, you cuddle up next to those glacier grenades like a cold, wet cat hugging up next to a radiator. There's also a really good chance that you only rock the Capreolanax exotic ornament because it looks badass. There's a great chance you're in the comment section right now challenging my pronunciation of Capreolanax, and honestly, I don't give a fuck. Verity's Brow. You're more than likely a PvE player who loves build crafting the most grenade spammy loadouts you've ever seen in your life. Asking you to pick between max discipline and grenade kickstart is like asking a parent to choose which child they love more. I mean, deep down you probably do have an answer, but you would never say it out loud. And at the end of the day, it's all woven together as part of your dirty little pineapple chucking family anyway. Sometimes you try to convince your friends to also wear Verity's Brow along with you so that you can get even more grenade energy, but people rarely take you up on that offer. Apotheosis Veil. I'm being really serious right now. I have no idea who in 2023 is non-ironically wearing the Apotheosis Veil. If there are any of you out in the wild, I can't say I've ever really seen you. You're kind of like Bigfoot in that regard. Is the nearby ability regeneration factor actually good? You probably claim it is to all your friends who repeatedly ask you why you're wearing that helmet, but I doubt you've ever gone into a private lobby to actually test the numbers, have ya? Well, at least it looks interesting. Astrocyte Verse. Odds are extremely high that you're a PvP main, and you're on a never-ending mission to recapture the magic of Blink from Destiny 1. Man, those were the days, weren't they? You know it'll never quite be the same, but you still love teleporting over people's heads and flying around the map. There's also a small chance that you're actually rocking the Verse on a solar class. When people see that, they laugh and ask if you've made a mistake until you casually mention that Heat Rises gives 70 AE and 70 plus 30 equals 100, and then they usually figure it out. If you're a PvE player who mains the Astrocyte Verse, quick reminder that you need to go to Home Depot and pick up a few more bags of lime because you are a serial killer. Felwinter's Helm. You're a PvE player, and unlike the boring-ass cookie-cutter white bread warlocks floofing around out there, you decided to try and find something a little bit more fun. Felwinter was exactly what you were looking for. Great for crowd control and dishing out weaken in large quantities. You've probably got a whole unique build that was improved with the 3.0 class system, and you have rock-solid knowledge of the entire D2 sandbox. You also take great pride in the fact that you rock one of the weirdest exotics, because come on, everybody else out there only has one ghost, but you have two. Dawn Chorus. You're a PvE player who really enjoys using Dawnblade. You have a 100 intellect stat at all times, and you've gotten into multiple arguments with your friends about how viable Dawnblade actually is in endgame PvE. Besides, running Radiant well all the time is boring, and you'd rather at least have some fun lighting people on fire from the air. When you wear Dawn Chorus in PvP, your fashion game is always decked out, and you wear it more because you think it looks cool or because you've heard true Vanguard swear up and down that it's actually not that bad. Fallen Sunstar. Arc is love, Arc is life. When Arc 3.0 came out, you figured you'd try out this wacky new helmet. And I mean, why not? It looks wild, and it might be a great way to better experiment with your new Arc toys. Turns out, you loved it. You are built to dish out ionic traces 24/7, and odds are pretty good that you have a build featuring the Cold Heart that you really wish more people would try out. Either that, or you just like really freaking people out with your fashion. Sunbracers. You really like using Solar 3.0 and lighting the whole goddamned room on fire. Nothing's more fun than gently floofing through the air and repeatedly making it rain on enemies in PvE. You have an entire build composed of nothing but chaining back and forth between melees and grenades repeatedly. You know it's not the best, most meta option, but you sure as hell enjoy it. On the extremely rare chance that you play PvP, you're kind of a zoner. You enjoy area denial, and you feel that people are really sleeping on solar grenades. Karnstein. You're a simple player, and by no means do I say that in a condescending way. You probably have a really straightforward yet effective playstyle featuring the classic art of holding the W key down with a shotgun. Run in, slide, pull trigger, melee button, rinse and repeat. Hey, it might not be wildly unique, but it served you well this far. Winter's Guile. One day you thought it might be funny to change things up and try out the Guile. More and more melee damage? That sounds hilarious. And where some people tried it out, laughed at how silly it was, and moved on with their lives, you went a different path. You became addicted to the meme. You know deep down in your heart of hearts that most other top tier exotics would benefit you way more frequently. But on the off chance you do get the Guile going in PvP, you are a menace for sure. You 100% have multiple clips saved on your PC or console of you slapping through entire teams in PvP, laughing like a maniac as you swing away, desperately looking for one more player to punch. Aeon Soul. I've said it twice before and ain't no different here. You're a PvE player and you're good at the game. You like doing things quickly, and your go-to solution is to drown everything out in power ammo. You've had the Sect of Insight on your Aeon for years, and honest to God, you can't even remember what the other two options even do. Your teammates love having you around because it means free power ammo for them. Ophidian Aspect. You're the type of player who, no matter what game they play, always has to go the top shelf most meta option no matter what. You know, the type of motherfucker who mains Nurse in Dead by Daylight. The type of motherfucker who mains Steve in Smash Bros, even if you're just playing a low stakes game with the boys. You are that motherfucker up and down, and you know it. You also know it's only a matter of time before Bungie takes the Ophidians and buries them hard. We're talking underneath the jail. A nerf so epic it'll make stompies look like they got slapped on the wrist for jaywalking. You definitely know it's coming, but until then, Claws of Ahamkara. You're a PvP player and a very straightforward type of person. I will now predict the odds of what subclass you play. Arc, low. Void, medium. Solar, high. Stasis, very high. There's a good chance that you first equipped the claws when the Shadebinder class was introduced and half the population wanted to leap into traffic. Bungie inevitably nerfed Shadebinder, but by that point, you didn't really want to go back. To you, pinpointing people with Penumbral is too much fun. Contraverse Hold. You often daydream about the good old days where handheld Supernova was an absolute terror in PvP. That's when you tried and fell in love with the Contraverse Hold. You really enjoyed charging that sucker up around the corner, then strafing out and Hadoukening a void explosion into the face of whoever might be standing there. It didn't take a lot of skill, and you know that, but according to you, it was all warlocks have. You still wear Contraverse, but feel it just ain't the same. Getaway Artist. You're kind of a troll, and you're open about it. Weird, funny loadouts is the name of your game, and because all of your IRL friends are tired of your antics, you needed a new friend who could bear witness to your shenanigans begins. Enter the Arc Buddy, your friend who simply can't say no. You like both feelings, the odd power fantasy of having a little arc friend and also the extra free arc damage. In PvP, you cheer and laugh every time your little buddy gets a kill in the kill feed, and you probably have given your Arc Buddy a name. Necrotic Grip. You have one love and one love only, Thorn. Infecting an entire room of red bars and spreading your fun little disease literally never gets old to you. I mean, hey, other people in your fire team are usually built for DPS anyway. Might as well enjoy yourself with some top tier ad clear. You probably wear the grip in PvP too, and it doesn't help as often as you'd like, even when you're in 6v6. But when it does kick in and help you, you'll giggle all the way to the bank. Odds are high that your Warlock is decked out in either toxic green-like colors or the usual garden variety dark black edgy hot topic shaders, and your favorite comic book bad guy is the Joker. Nothing Manacles. There is no way I'm speaking to more than 20 people worldwide at this exact moment. Let's see, you probably wake up at the crack of 3 in the afternoon, wolf down a healthy meal of dirt and marshmallows, then ride your magic donkey through the gateway portal to get to work, as you are the mayor of Crazy Town. Osmiomancy Gloves. The introduction of Void, Arc, and Solar 3.0 only confirmed one thing in your mind. No matter what Bungie does to the old subclasses, they cannot compare to Stasis. Even though most people know that Osmio is top tier, you have a rare quality that allows you to main this exotic, a complete and utter lack of shame. You're always happy to outplay someone with gun skill alone, but you laugh maliciously every time your Ice Flare Bolt cold snaps lock up the most free team wipe of your life. Odds are pretty good you also love covering the map in turrets and have at least one time gone into a match with all your buddies where you were all wearing the Osmio. Starfire Protocol. In all likelihood, you're a PvE main who likes to go deep during any given DPS phase with a combination of both fusion grenades and cracked power weapons. You've got multiple big damage weapons that have the perk Demolitionist, and if your team ever fails a Raid Boss 1 phase, you're secretly kinda thrilled about it because that means you can check to see how much damage you did, fully confident in knowing that you won't be anywhere near the bottom. If you play PvP, you don't throw those nades, you eat them and soar gracefully into the sky to make the other team's day a living hell. Wings of Sacred Dawn. The airborne effectiveness system sucks butt through a straw right now, but you know what? You're gonna lean into it and look good while doing it. You never play PvP without your 2 best buddies at your side, Heat Rises and a 100 discipline build. Long range, precise weapons are your jam when you're in the air, and nothing tickles you quite like getting a headshot while 50 meters off the ground. Your Warlock fashion game is always on point, and every night you secretly hope that Deej will one day return to Bungie. Vesper of Radius. To say that you're set in your ways might be a little bit of an understatement. You know just how little people use or even know about the Vesper, but you do not care. You've somehow figured out a weird way to make it work for you. In PvE, you have a unique 3.0 build that you've fully tailored and built from the ground up to perform quite well against trash and mobs. In the rare event that I'm speaking to a PvP Vesper main, I have to be honest, I'm kind of afraid of you. Not because I think you're good or anything, but because you are the very definition of unpredictable. Admittedly, you don't always get the Vesper to net you a kill in PvP, but when you do, you feel like Megamind and proudly announce it to your whole fire team. Sanguine Alchemy. I am being dead serious right now. I literally don't know if there's anyone out there who actually wears this for any reason other than the fact that it looks badass. And dude, what a tragedy, because really, look, the exotic looks great, but the perk is just, I mean, it's nothing. It's less than nothing. Imagine owning the best looking car in the world, but it's just an empty frame with no engine. Imagine having the most beautiful wife or husband in the world, but it's not actually a real person, it's just a full-length body pillow. That's pretty much the Sanguine Alchemy. Chromatic Fire. You're in the business of making the room go boom, and business is good. In PvE, you delight at chaining together red bar kills and tight corridors with your primary. If you're playing PvP, it's almost always either Control or Iron Banner, and every time you're lucky enough to get a Collat explosion kill, you never miss an opportunity to tell your friends how much they're missing out by not wearing the Chromatic Fire. Your fashion game might not be as on point as a Wings of Sacred Dawn main, but you look good, and you unironically love the weird clunky walkie-talkie attachment on your robes. Phoenix Protocol. You're a PvE main with the following credo: variety be damned. You know that no matter how much the meta changes, one thing will always be in high demand on any raid team: Warlocks who can drop Radiant Wells. Nothing fancy, nothing flashy. The bad news is that your playstyle is boring, but the good news is that you look good and it'll always be welcome on any day 1 dungeon or raid team. Stormdancer's Brace. You're a PvE player and a very big fan of Storm Trance. Like, way more than the average player. You really like popping super and laying waste to a ton of enemies, and the brace just kind of feels right to you. Any activity with a bunch of trash to plow through is your favorite, and you dislike really complicated endgame builds that put you through the ringer for just a tiny bit more DPS. You'd rather look good and zap people. Good for you. Mantle of Battle Harmony. You are a PvP main, but not just any PvP main. You're a borderline mad scientist, the kind of person who follows in the footsteps of clever PvP players like Cammy Cakes or Cool Guy. And because you know just how important the snowballing effect can be in trials, you rock the Mantle along with your favorite arc weapon for that extra smidge of super energy. That, along with your tier 10 intellect build, usually gives you the first super in a game of trials, and you grin each and every time that happens. Sometimes you don't even need to pop that early super. You can rock that free extra damage buff until you need to pop. Sometimes you'll take the Mantle off after you've popped your super, but in your heart, you're smiling, knowing your big brain Battle Harmony did its job and did it well. Transversive Steps. You're a PvP main, and you're actually quite good. But for whatever reason, you've hitched your wagon to Transversive and not Ophidian Aspect. It's probably because Transversive was the first godly Warlock Exotic in D2 PvP that you can remember, but maybe there's another secret reason that only you know and you alone. In all likelihood, you've probably gotten into arguments with teammates about the viability of Transversive versus Ophidians in PvP, but you stand your ground each and every time. Is it because you've worn them for so long? The fact that you're used to them? How it fits into your loadout or personal playstyle? Or maybe you just like preparing for the inevitable great Ophidian nerf sure to come. The only person who truly knows the answer is you little enigma. Lunafaction Boots. Luna mains everywhere, I salute you. The designated drivers of the PvE community. Now that Titan Bubble and Warlock Rift provide the same amount of weapon damage buff, which I hate by the way, the Radiant Well has secured its spot as the god tier perma-king of stand here and dish out massive DPS to a faraway raid boss super. And with that in mind, you're here to do the job that no one else wants to do. Put on the boring ass Lunafaction so that everyone standing in the inevitable Radiant Well gets a little bit better reload speed and therefore dishes out damage a little bit quicker. Cheers to you, Lunafaction main. Gallarhorn and Adept Hothead users everywhere appreciate your sacrifice. Now let's go to the bar. You're driving. Geomag Stabilizers. Oh man, fuck you. I'm kidding. Sorry, I had to get that out of my system. I mean, are there really any of you left at this point? Look, y'all had a great run. There was a time not too long ago where going into trials without a Geomag Chaos Reach Warlock was borderline suicide for how powerful it was. You remember the good old days of running in a circle to top off your super, charging into Kamehameha the other team, then canceling early to maintain even more super for a later round. Please take no offense when I say this, but man, I hope your exotic stays dead and rotting forever. Just try to think of all the good times as you use your slightly longer Chaos Reach to burn down Gambit Primevals or whatever the fuck you use Geomag for these days. Promethium Spur. I'ma be real, you're kind of a weirdo. Oh sure, when you get your quirky little Promethium Solar Weapon Empowerment Rift Chain combo going in quick play, you feel pretty good. You're always trying to convince your friends how fun it is to use the Promethium, and take it from me, they're never gonna wear it, bro. Not because it isn't good. I mean, it isn't, but they mostly ain't gonna wear it because of the individual toe design. It's weird, Bungie. I don't like it. Boots of the Assembler. Odds are you are not actually a Boots of the Assembler main. I mean, you were, and then Bungie nerfed your precious troll armor into the ground. You remember fun times when you'd put on the boots and your Lumina hand cannon, and then oh, the punishment you and your team would dish out. Le Monarch one taps and sniper rifle body shot kills galore. You and your homies giggled with joy as you would salt farm and quick play till the cows came home. And yeah, you can still troll a little bit with the booties and the Lumina post nerf, but it just ain't the same. Secant Filaments. You're more than likely a PvE player, and although you do enjoy build crafting, the filaments have become your all reliable, so to speak. I mean, half the goddamn blueberries out there these days have adopted a let someone else bring the champion mods mentality. And because of that, you've learned that the only person you can really rely on is you. It ain't wildly strong, but free overload, devour, and empowering on repeat suits you just fine. Or you're a PvP player who watches Cami or Lunars and you love rocking filaments, but only in sixes because you know better. Rain of Fire. You're a PvE main who dabbles in speedrunning, and just as Cleveland was dependent on LeBron, so are you with your Gallarhorn. Doing things by yourself quickly is fine, but you prefer having two teammates with god roll hotheads, and one of them better be wearing Aeon Safe, goddammit. Why do so many people overthink PvE builds. Icarus dashing to reload your mighty G-Horn is really all you'll ever need. If you want me to keep this series going, both hit the like button and head down to the comment section and tell me what kind of video idea you want next. Remember to click subscribe if you're new, and I appreciate you. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on stream.